Welcome to Coffee with Chris. I'm joined today by lifestyle model, actress, amazing human, Denise Pawlett. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here.
So we were chatting offline a bit, and I really appreciate your sharing with me. Walk me through a lifestyle model. What is a lifestyle model?
Basically, a lifestyle model, you're representing a lifestyle of different brands or fashion, whatever it is that you want, they want you to represent. So it could be eyeglasses. So then you would model the eyeglasses and make sure that you're presenting them to the audience in a way that would speak to them, or hopefully it speaks to them. And usually it's in photography. So it would be, either magazine or online, that sort of thing. And even, I guess a little bit of commercial, but mainly that would be the print.
Now you're also an actress. What has been what's that process like for you? They call you up or they send you an email. Hey, you have an audition. We want you to portray this character. What's the emotion? What are the feelings that are going through you at that time?
Well, to just get the audition is excitement to begin with. And then I'm like, oh no, how am I going to do this? And then it's reading, kind of going through the breakdown of what the sides are to begin with, and trying to figure out where my character is coming from a lot of times. I did an audition for it. It was actually like a serial killer. And I was like, how? And it was like involving children. And I was like, how am I going to do this? This is not, because I'm completely opposite of that. So it was just kind of breaking down everything that maybe I would want to bring to the character, as well as like making your backstory for that character is a lot of it too.
It's weird. Again, we were chatting offline there about these serial killer roles, and typically it's you fit the look, right? And
Yes.
That's why these headshots go out. And then you just sit there as an actor and you're like, okay, so what is it about my face that gives off the murdery vibe?
So, and that was the first time that I'd actually had like a bad guy role, because usually, one of the things on my resume is that I'm a retired police officer. So then they go to detective or teacher or nurse. So those are usually the roles that I get. Not usually the bad guy ones. So this one was a one-off, but it was just, and it was fun to actually try and prepare for, but it was different.
And what's something in your acting career, when you look back on all the roles that you've done, has there been anything that you've been like, that one was groundbreaking for me, or that was like, oh, I really love that role that I did?
I did love my role in the independent film, which hasn't actually come out yet. It was but I was kind of a Karen, like, and just kind of, telling somebody what I actually thought, because I don't normally do that. I just kind of, okay, yeah, like I'll be nice and honest about, but I was kind of a bitch. I don't know if I can even say that, but
Absolutely, yeah.
That's kind of what I was, and it was fun to play because I'm never like that, and I was like, I can totally be too much here, and nobody's going to say anything.
So when we look at acting as a whole in this industry, everyone knows there's the never-ending audition process. We never know why we don't get a role, and there's never any closure. You get the call, your availability is checked, you're on hold, and then they're like, we went with somebody else. When we look at Denise Pawlett and we look at these audition processes and we look at this whole piece, how do you move past that? What's the process that Denise uses that says, hey, screw that, I'm moving forward?
So for me, it's more of I don't really let things bother me to begin with, because it's like, if it's something I can't control, then why worry about it? And I can't control who they pick. It could be for whatever reason. So it took me a little bit, because I would be disappointed before. And then I finally got to the point of, I'm like, I can't control it. They're going to go with whoever they want, whatever they see that they like in that person. That's what, and they may have already had something in mind that's what they were stuck on. So if I can't control it, then I can't think about it. I just try and do the best that I can in whatever audition I get. And then it's done. If I hear, great. But life that you don't have, there's so many things in life that you don't have closure in. So I'm like, this is just something else that you're like, I can't control it. So why worry?
Now, when we look at actors, agents auditioning that whole, a lot of people say that, those agents are working for you. Everyone wants to make money. Everybody wants to be successful. In your opinion, what's the biggest relationship piece between an agent and an actor that needs to be in consideration?
Communication has to be big between the agent and the actor. The agent has to be able to communicate what they want, and also communicate like maybe things that you're not doing properly, things like there has to be. And then even if I want to talk to my agent, like I want them to be upfront and honest with me. And I also want them to listen to, like, maybe if I have a concern about what's happening or what our communication style is like or what's going on, then there needs to be some back and forth, because it's like any other relationship, right? Like you need to have both ways putting an effort in.
I like that you said that it really has this open piece to it, in the sense of that, if I send an email or a text or a phone call, I'm not expecting an immediate response, but I am expecting you to get back to me.
Yes. And it doesn't, and they're busy, so it's not going to be immediate, that, but at some point, let's have this communication.
So if you could give advice to, everyone's a struggling actor, if you will, or trying to be an actress or an actor in this industry, something that no one ever said to you when you started out, and now you've been acting for a while and modeling, what's something that you would say to someone coming up behind you is, hey, don't hold your breath for that email, or keep trying? Like, what would that look like?
That would look like, I would have to say that that's a good question. It would be more to the point of, it's all about you, really, and it's all about how you react to the different parts of the career that you're trying to get into. If you react negatively, then you're going to have more of a negative response, and people don't seem to like that part of it, because we do get a lot of rejection, and we do get a lot, so we need to be open-minded about those. And I think that at the beginning, nobody really said that to me to begin with, and I've really had to learn a bit more to be a bit more open-minded about some things.
So when you started out, and you and I have different career paths on that side of things, when you look at these weekend warrior workshops or acting workshops or self-tape workshops, and there's tons out there, is there anything specific that you'd said, hey, you know what, you really got to take them, learn by firing squad, if you will? What would be your what would
yes.
be your piece?
Well, that's a good way to put it. Learn by firing squad. Sometimes it feels like that, doesn't it? But definitely, you have to keep improving, and you have to. I mean, it's just like anything else in life, right? You have to keep learning, and you have to keep moving forward. And the only way you can do that is to, keep doing workshops, or do something that's going to improve you as a person, but it also helps you in the career that you've chosen, or in in this industry. Like everything will help you because it's all about experiences. So the more experiences you have, the better off you are.
Okay. And do you find that when you're playing the character that there's a lost connection between Denise and the character, or coming out of it? You know, a lot of people, and I use Jared Leto as an example, and the stuff that he did on the Joker there with his teammates. But when they yell cut, how do you stop being that person? How do you not take that character home with you?
That, I think sometimes I have taken it home with me by accident. Depending on what my character was. But it's, again, it's a mindset that you kind of have to work through continually, really, in just, okay, this is me for this period of time, but then at some point you have to be, and we talked about this a bit already, where you have to be kind of back to your own self while you're having that conversation with the director or with whoever it is, so that you can see where you need, what needs to be changed. If you're in, I know that a lot of people will say that they stay in character, but at some point you do have to kind of come out of that and go back to reality.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, you can't live in the world of make-believe forever, right?
Right. Sometimes it would be nice to, but you know.
So are there any new projects that you're working on? Is there any modeling gigs coming up or movies that you're in?
No modeling gigs right now. Actually, I'm going to be putting together a demo reel, hopefully, and I'm going to be putting my name out to my resume and headshots out to some new agents with my fingers crossed. But at the same time, I've talked to a friend about, we're talking about doing a podcast, you know, and I think, you know, it was like, we're two 50-year-old women, but you know, who's going to want to hear from us? And then we're like, we have so much to say that everybody will want to hear from us.
I think that's a great title. Two 50-year-old women, we have a lot to say.
Right? Like, what could go wrong with that? Or, you know, and part of it is that both of us have always been told we've been a bit too much, and we've been friends for 35 years. So together, sometimes we may be a bit too much, but you know, that's okay. Everyone just has to deal with that. It's fine. Actually, we've actually had quite a bit of support from like other friends and different people when we've mentioned it, and they're like, we would totally listen to your podcast. So it's something that we're gonna, you know, we're talking about a bit more and trying to take a bit more serious. There's a couple of things. My brother's a script writer. He went to school for it, and I'm actually trying to convince him to write a script for me because after 30 years of policing, I feel like I have another perspective on maybe like different how things a policing story, right, which I wouldn't mind exploring a little bit more as well. So those two things are kind of in the works slowly. Doesn't seem, I'm hoping the podcast can be like something quick. The script is, and that is definitely going to be a slower process, but you know, I'll keep my fingers crossed and we'll keep moving forward, or I'll, you know, if my brother doesn't do it, then I'll talk to somebody else about it.
Well, I know my own experience with writing is that, you know, you write something, you're like, wow, that looks amazing. And then you read it again, you're like, oh crap, I need to make some changes. And you're 8 months later and you're like, oh, I still only have 20 pages.
Yeah. Well, and it's even just, I mean, I have the ideas for the characters already because, and I have a bit of the story, but then I'm like, how do I write that?
Yeah.
So
that is the challenge of how do I make that look presentable.
Exactly. Like I can talk about it and then everyone, yeah, that's a great idea. And then I'm like, but then how do I get that on paper?
Character mapping and development and beat scenes and it's
yes. So
it's not easy to learn.
Definitely not.
So talk to me about your podcast. What would the podcast be like?
Well, the podcast, again, we're two 50-year-old women and we've been through so much, right? And I think there's so many different things and experiences that we have had that it's kind of like almost giving advice to other people, but not giving advice to other people about, just talking about different things in life. Like I came down one day because I have 6 kids, and I
Wow.
found that, oh, yes, I have one of my sons just, cleaned his room. So guess what I found? I found all my dishes from his room. Like, seriously, like, who does that? Like, well, teenage boys do that. It's, they're a lot of fun. Or I'm like, I'll just close that door so I don't have to look at that mess, kind of thing. Oh, and just like, there's so many different parts of life that are just kind of entertaining. And, you don't think about it, but then, and I have a friend who has, she has 5 kids, but she writes a blog, and she's just an amazing woman. But some of the stuff that she goes through with her younger kids, and I'm like, I remember that. I can tell you exactly. And then, the whole, like I said, we're 50 years, so there's so much, like, just between different places we've gone and our kids and work and different things, like, we'd have to kind of narrow it down a little bit at some point, but really it's like 50-year-old lifestyle, a 50-year-old woman's lifestyle, and what we've gone through is kind of what the
Seems like
podcast.
stand-up comedy might be the better way to go.
But you know what? Some of it probably could be, but we'll see. We'll see what happens first.
So if someone said to you, Denise, describe the word community, what does community mean to you? What would your answer be?
It means getting involved with different people, working together, building relationships. Community is like everybody supporting each other. It's a really, I feel it's a really big part of anything, really. You have different communities for different things. Like I have my gym community for when I'm at the gym, and everybody supports each other there. An acting community that, we support each other, and we come to each other for advice, and we do different things. But then they connect still because of the different relationships within it, right? So, and it's a bunch of people that support and connect with each other.
And if you don't mind me asking you a more personal question, what's something that people tend to misunderstand about you the most?
Let's see. People misunderstand. I would say they misunderstand. Another good question.
Hard-hitting questions on Coffee with Chris, the Stumpers.
This is self-reflecting now, Chris. I'm not sure about this. They say I'm kind of, at first I'm standoffish, when it's really, I'm kind of shy a lot. Sometimes I can be kind of, I just kind of sit back and watch, and I'm not trying to be standoffish, but I'm trying to kind of gauge my audience, or where I am at the room, to see kind of what's happening and where I fit in. And it's not like I'm trying to hold back, but I just, sometimes there's a time and place, and you got to make sure you're in that right time and place for some things.
30 years as a police officer make you a great observer. That's what I'm hearing.
So, well, and part of it is I can be very nosy too, right? That's what we do as police officers. We get into everybody's business.
That's right.
So it's another thing I'm good at, is being nosy.
So if you had to look at society and the world that we're in right now, what is something that you say, hey, we really have to stop doing this, or tomorrow we have to start doing that? What do you think that we're really missing the mark on? We're
missing the mark on community, really. Because like half the time we're so busy. And that's part of it, right? We need to stop being so busy, and we need to look at what's around us and the people around us, because it doesn't take too much to be involved. Like I can walk down the street and I can smile at somebody. I've just developed a communication with that person just from the smile. I've developed a sort of relationship because we've just made eye contact. I've smiled at them. That could change their day, right? And we don't do that. We look at our phones and we carry on our day, and we don't have that we don't have that connection anymore.
Right.
So I think that's what's missing.
There's a wise man. I'll name drop him for you. My dad. He always loves to say that it doesn't cost anything to be nice and polite.
No, it doesn't.
And my last question that I have for you today: what makes Denise Pawlett smile?
What makes me smile? Oh, so many things. I just look at the nature around me and that makes me smile. Like it's the whole, just the sunrise. I'll drive down to the beach just to watch the sunrise and just look at that. When I look at my kids, they make me smile. I think there's so many things and that's what's important, is just finding those things and thinking about those things that make you smile, because that just makes your day that much better.
Wonderfully said. That's been all the time I have for you. Thank you so much for joining with me today, Denise. This has been Coffee with Chris. Everyone have a fantastic day and smile to inspire. Thank you.